From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
It certainly is. It's Eric Wiltshire here in the hot seat. Hot seat being the operative word today, because it's very warm. Lee's somewhere in Spain. We are going to try and hook up with him in a bit. And Rachel is going to rant today, aren't you, Rach?
Yeah, a bit.
A bit? Just a bit?
Maybe. Well, yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, probably a lot. It's better when I rant when Uncle Lee's here because he kind of eggs me on. But you have to do it.
Well, I'll do my bestest. Dave says morning all. Well, morning back. No, Dave, it's afternoon here, and it's night time where Rach is. What are you on? You can't. Yeah. You can't, can you? You try hard, no. but it doesn't really work. This is Postcard from Poprad, boys and girls, your alternative sideways look at the news. And it's going to be slightly alternative. I'm melting, Rach.
Are you?
Yeah.
How hot is it there?
Well, in the office it's 35.
That's because you've got all those machines in there.
I've got aircon on, I've got fans on, I've got extractor fans on, I've got the free flow air system on, and that's hard to say when you can't talk. And Dave says I should have coffee. That's a good idea. Yeah, Rach can do the whole programme on her own, I'll just have coffee. I like that idea.
It's not hot here at all. It's actually really cold, and we're getting an Arctic blast this weekend, which is excellent news.
Did you get that from the ice cream shop?
I wish, because, I don't eat dairy anymore. So
No. Right, are you ready, Rach?
Yes.
Are you ready to be gasp and flabbered?
Always.
Right. So, you know how I am. Sorry, boys and girls, but this is true. I am a total and utter meat-eating person. And in fact, until I had my appendix out, I used to say to everybody my ambition was to get my appendix working again. But then they had to come out, so that kind of blew that one. And because of this, I won't say diet, because that's wrong. The lifestyle change I'm on, one of the girls there has been egging me on, to try all these different foods. And she's got me eating vegan food.
Vegan food's yummy.
But the stuff, do you know that their vegan version of ham tastes like chopped pork? What do they call it? Everything tastes exactly the same, I reckon. Really? It really does. I eat these fantastic vegan strips, and I use them to make stir fry and things like that. Mm. And it mimics whatever is around it, because it's basically soy. It's tofu. Yeah.
But it mimics everything around it. So if you put some soy with it, it tastes like beef stir fry. It's amazing. It's the most amazing thing. And do you know what else? It's really, really good for you. Although I am a firm believer that you still need certain proteins and certain ions, and you can get those from, beef or chicken or whatever.
I know. And the other thing, Rach, we got a new shop in Poprad.
Oh, have you? What is it?
Well, this is the weird thing, you see, because I'm English, obviously, and this shop is so brilliant because it's actually totally Slovak. There's nothing...
Amazing.
It's not Anglophiled at all. And they boast, because they got all these signs up about being eco-friendly, and when I see those, I go, yeah, right. But I go in there, they've only got proper, thick pork chops in there, haven't they?
Yeah, that's what you want.
Proper ones with bones in them. Really ones. And I looked at them and nearly fell over, because you can't buy pork chops here normally. They don't do them. And I've just had one for lunch. Oh! Absolutely bitter and I didn't fry it in oil.
What did you cook? What did you do? Did you grill it?
No, I put some ghee in the pan.
Ah.
And I'm a good boy.
Yes, you're very good. See, this is the thing. Lifestyle changes aren't about deprivation. They're just about making sensible choices.
Yeah, and I didn't. And seriously, no potatoes. I did have.
No, they're bad.
I did have peas, which is difficult to get here as well, because that's not a normal food. But I sat there the other night breaking the pods myself and so we got fresh peas and tomatoes. And all I did was put some black pepper and sea salt on it.
That's perfect. Lovely.
It was yum.
Clean eating is the best way to do things, seriously.
Oh, I can't believe it. And then the worst bit of all, my other coach has got me drinking lemon-infused water during the day, no tea and coffee.
Well, did you know that lemon-infused water, a glass of, a mug of hot water with lemon in it instead of your coffee in the morning, it boosts your metabolism.
Does it?
Yeah, it kicks it off. It gets it going. So instead of having the coffee in the morning or the tea in the morning, or whatever your wake up beverage of choice is, have your hot water, squeeze some lemon into it, and if you don't like the taste of it, put that lovely syrup that I was telling you about in it. Put a teaspoon of that, or honey, whatever, and it actually it kickstarts your metabolism.
I know. Apparently, Dave reckons I've turned into Mary Berry. Which doesn't mean a lot to most people, but there you go. It doesn't at all. We'll try Lee in a moment. I'm not going to do it too quickly because God knows where he is. And anyway, Rachel can do this one. Because the author Michael Bond, who created the wonderful character Paddington Bear, has died at the grand old age of 91. That's quite cool, really, isn't it?
It is really cool. And what a lovely and treasured character that is for so many people, and so many generations of kids know exactly who Paddington Bear is. And I remember having a Paddington Bear when I was little and loving those books and loving having them read to me. And what a treasured character that is. Just gorgeous, really.
Yeah, I know. And the other funny thing, and I don't think people actually get it, because do you know where Paddington Bear originated from? What country?
No.
Peru.
Peru. Oh, that's why he was into marmalade.
Yes. And, of course, Peru's next door to Argentina, which we're not supposed to like. And yet we all love Paddington Bear. He
was great. And I love these sort of pots of confection-eating bears. Winnie the Pooh loved his honey, but Paddington Bear loving marmalade. And I remember thinking when I was a kid, because when I first recall hearing about Paddington Bear, I was about 5, I reckon. And I remember thinking, but marmalade's disgusting.
It's lovely. It's lovely.
I hated it, and to this day I can't eat it.
Really? Well, apparently people are leaving jars of marmalade at Paddington Station in London, where the statue is.
That's adorable.
Isn't that lovely? I think that's... Do you know, there can be nice things in this world,
There can, and sometimes you have terrible weeks and days, and everything gets a bit much, and then you think, you know what, there is some lovely in the world, and that is it right there.
Yeah, and I've got to say hi to the Poprad Girl and Boy Scouts who are off camping this weekend, who are taking their smartphones with them, which is kind of cool. And some of them actually helped on the Slovak version, which is a different day, on Monday, of International Hugs Day, Slovakia. Everybody was out in the middle of in the town centre, just hugging each other.
I should have been there on that.
It was wonderful. And if they did hug,
you had your sunscreen on, you kids out in the heat this weekend.
Absolutely. And any of the kids that hugged each other, we gave them a t-shirt or a baseball cap with RTI on them. Yeah. Little Prezi as well. We're going to be slightly serious for a sec before we go over to Lee. There's been a big survey down in Australia, which I get it, but I don't get it, if that makes any sense, because I'm not there and Rachel is. Over 2/3 of the coalition voters back Malcolm Turnbull.
I do. Well, the thing is that this week there's been... Remember Tony? Remember him?
Yeah, I remember him. The one that you love. Not.
Yes. Well, he's been relegated to the backbench, and he promised when he was ousted as Prime Minister that he wouldn't snipe and undermine Malcolm Turnbull and wouldn't backstab him. Well, guess what? Guess what he's doing?
Backstabbing.
Don't you know?
Yeah.
But the reason why is because he comes from the conservative right of that party, and Malcolm Turnbull was known to be a moderate, and he sort of sits about in the middle. But the conservative right have, for the most part, had their say and had their way with what goes on with that party in this country. So they're sort of losing ground, and the moderates are sort of taking over, and the issue of marriage equality came up again, and one of the ministers, one of his moderate ministers, was actually recorded saying something at a private function, and it was an offhanded remark saying that, the moderates are, sort of taking control, and marriage equality is just, it's a done deal, and it's going to happen as sooner than people think.
Oh, actually, I've got some hot news for you. Hot news.
What?
In Germany, same-sex marriage has all been approved now.
See, this is the thing. Every day I look at the newspapers for the last X amount of years, and this country said yes, and that country said yes. And I mean,
even Ireland said yes. Ireland says yes.
Even the United States of America, who's gone bonkers, have said yes.
Not the same here, though. We can't. Not allowed.
Well, it makes me crazy because what the government have done is they said, okay, if you want marriage equality, we will have a plebiscite. Right. So everybody in the whole country can vote, and that was going to cost $1 billion to run. So we said, no, we don't want a plebiscite. We don't want to do that. So the ministers in the other party, Labor and so forth and so on, crushed it in Parliament, so that couldn't happen. But they said, so you don't want the people to make the decision? And I was like, well, hang on a minute. The same government, the Liberal coalition, the same government several years ago when we were led by a man called John Howard, he changed the wording of the Marriage Act in Parliament with a parliamentary vote because he said the public weren't able to make that decision. It should be a parliamentary vote. Oh. Now, all of a sudden, the paper is saying, see, that's why we don't want a plebiscite, because it's going to cost us billions and it should just happen anyway.
Well, yeah.
But having said that, the Labor guys, the Labor guys, had 8 years to do something about it and didn't. And it's just beyond frustrating. That's why Robbie and I won't register our marriage when we got married in New York. We haven't registered it in Australia, and I'm not going to until everybody can.
That's a good stand. I like that one. I like that. But we got the same...
Not doing it.
I know. It's the same in the UK at the moment. There was a political programme on yesterday, and I was listening to it on the radio. Unbelievable what these people are going on about. And, what they don't get. And I've got kind of a 50-50 on this, Rach, because I really don't know where I'm going. On one side, I love people to make a decision, because if the people speak, the people have the power, then the government does what the people says. That makes logical sense to me. But the trouble is, I don't think everybody understands the issues. They really don't.
You're right. They don't.
That's
why they don't vote.
Well, they do, a lot of these people, but what they were doing was complaining about the extra money that's been given to Northern Ireland to get the Northern Ireland MPs on the side of the Conservatives in England so they can get all the bills through Parliament. Now, somebody's going, oh yeah, but we couldn't get this for this and we couldn't get that for that. I know that. But the fact is, there's always the odd £1 billion lying about, because that's how a company works. And a country is actually a business. It's like a public limited company. It's a PLC. And if you don't run it like a PLC, you're screwed. Now, I feel so sorry for the nurses, the doctors, ambulance people that in the UK have not had a pay rise, get this, for 7 years, which is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And they deserve to get a pay rise. The downside is the $1 billion they put into Northern Ireland is only a fraction of what it costs to pay all the doctors, nurses and ambulance people, because over a couple of years they spend billions and billions and billions, and they haven't got that many billions lying about. And nobody gets it. Is it just me?
No, it's not. It's crazy. I mean, this survey that they just did that we were just talking about, the reason why everybody's backing him is because he's a moderate guy. And the guy who runs the other party is a dingaling. And these are the guys I would normally vote for, but I didn't this time. I went independent. But they've done things like they've just cut penalty rates for Saturdays, working on Saturdays and Sundays. Now, my sister works part-time, but she works Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the lion's share of her wage comes from her penalty rates on the weekend, which she no longer has as of July 1.
So they basically put the minimum wage down?
Yeah.
Well, that's ludicrous.
It's completely bananas, and it's not fair. It's just, they're hitting little guy, they're hitting it at young families, they're hitting at all these people who can't afford it. Meanwhile, they give tax breaks to the wealthy, and it just makes me furious.
Well, you see, that's another one that came up as well, and I'm pleased you raised it, because what people don't get, and we've had this recently with our friend Jan, and he genuinely went to England with under £5 in his pocket in 1968. So he didn't come from a wealthy background. He had nothing. He couldn't even speak English, Rach. He had to learn it himself. He went to the equivalent of your Opal, which was Vauxhall, and he swept the floor, saved his money up so that he could afford to rent a bedsit. He didn't even have a place to sleep when he went there. And yet this guy has worked all the way through his life. He's very affluent now. He pours a lot of money into good things as well. But people are targeting him now because he's rich. Yeah, and he's earned every penny of it.
Exactly. And people, do you know what, that makes me angry? People say, you're so lucky you've got money. It's like, luck's got nothing to do with it. I worked my ass off.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I hate when people do that to wealthy people. It makes me so angry.
No, I'll tell you what, true story. Actually, yeah, why not? I'll tell it. Jan is a very visionary, entrepreneurial guy. But he does struggle with the digital world. And he makes no apologies for it. So he said to me when all social media kicked off and that, Eric, can you do it for me? Because I'm going to make a mess of it. So I'd rather it be done properly than mess it up. So I run his fan page on Facebook. So we get this message in. My name is Mrs. So-and-so. I'm about to drop down dead. The debt collected agency are behind me. I'm going to get kicked out of my house, yada, 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 yada. Can you send me €20,000, please? To which I replies, can I have the name of your employer, please, so that you can repay the debt? We can loan it to you through a charitable trust, but, you've got to pay it back. Oh, no, I don't want to pay it back. You can afford it. Hello? Well, if we keep giving it out, then the money's all gone, then nobody else can get help when they need it.
That's right, and you're supposed to take this person's word for it, just over a message.
So anyway, it was about 100 kilometres from here, the place. So I told a fib, Rach. Sorry, dear listener.
Oh,
I told a fib. And I fibbed and said, we've had some people come round to your house, madam, to come and talk to you to discuss the loan. But we couldn't find you there. No, I was out. We never even went there. We never went there. And then I carried it on. And she carried on blagging it for about 2 years. And in the end, I said to her, look, the bottom line is you've got to put all this in writing and send it to the head office. Then it'll go into the charitable department. And if they think you're worthwhile, then, they'll talk to you. I can't authorise this. And she said, yeah, but I'll get kicked out tomorrow. Well, she was doing that 2 years before.
Right.
Hello. Good morning. What are they on? Hello, Den. How are you, mate? The world's oldest emergency service, known to everybody in the UK as 999. Not no in Dutch, in German. I've got Dutch people, German people, everywhere. It's celebrating its 80th birthday, and aren't we lucky to have had that?
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it.
I know.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, they used to have all this huge debate before it came on about what number are they going to have. And in the end, because the old, what was called a Strowger telephone exchange was a bit wonky, the best chance they've got of not misdialing it was 999, which is why it ended up there rather than 333 or 707, I think it was at one time suggested. But it's been going on. And they actually took 1,000 calls. You think this is 1937. They took 1,000 calls in the first week. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it now has grown to 30 million calls a week in the UK alone.
shady, aren't they? Didn't we do one about a guy got really annoyed because the ice cream man didn't put sprinkles on his ice cream cone or something?
Yeah, there's loads of those.
Remember that?
Was it? I'm sorry to call 999, but I was looking for 101, but I didn't know the number.
It's 000 in Australia if you ever get stuck, by the way.
Oh, it's one. Well, we should do them all. It's 112 here. In fact, we have two.
Okay.
We have 112, which is the main emergency number, and then there's a direct line for the National Police, and secondarily a number for the local police as well. And you can just phone them up. I love some of the other ones. I'm on the top bunk and I can't get down.
I've often had that happen to me, but I am very short.
Well, you are little, yes. They can be nice packages. Another caller. I need the police, please. It's my daughter's wedding day and her dress doesn't fit anymore. I need the help of the police to come and get her in it. I like this one. I need an ambulance. Why? My husband's lost his pyjamas and he cannot breathe without them. And there's two more silly ones. I need to cancel my hairdresser's appointment. It's an emergency and I can't get through to the salon. And for all radio anoraks of the Jose fame that like watery wireless, I've saved the best one till last. Caller. There's a seagull with a broken arm. Oh! But having said that...
I love people.
Oh, yeah. We had one, when was it? I think it was last year they did it. And it was calls to the British consulate abroad. And one bloke phoned up in desperate straits. Do you know why? He'd lost his false teeth. And he thought it was the British Embassy's job to find them for him. Hello, yes. Good morning. Not happening. And honestly, I've had some really horrific ones here with maritable status and yada, and people trying to wangle their way out of things and thinking the British Embassy will do all that for me. No, they won't. Because we don't do anything like that for you at all. You get caught, it's your own problem. Some serious news from this end, by the way, before we carry on. If you haven't heard, there's a new cyber attack. It came out a couple of days ago, which is going through the world. It started off in the Ukraine, which is next door to us. And it's an updated version of the old virus, really. That's all it is. And the problem with it is it's hitting banks, it's hitting advertising firms, governments have been clobbered with it. But there is, and I do ask you ever so nicely to do this, even the free services that offer you antiviral type stuff, if you watch your computer, and I've checked this, they are all offering free patches to stop this one getting through. Now, because that's there, and if you then go and get this virus, I'm sorry, boys and girls, I haven't got a lot of sympathy. Because there's a fix. And the fix is for free. No money, not a brass farthing spent. It's all totally free. And the problem with this is, and if you do get stuck, seriously, don't mess about with your computer. Take it to somebody who knows what they're doing rather than wreck it. Because currently we're talking Ukraine, Russia, Poland, Italy, the UK, Germany, France, Denmark, Norway, India, Australia, and also the US. So it's going all over the place. And what they're doing is they're demanding the ransom in that abysmal, abhorrent, ridiculous Bitcoin thing. Ugh. And by the way, before I forget, I've got to tell Mr. Zuckerberg something. That annoys me as well. These adverts. Now, I don't mind. I know he's got to make some money. And I appreciate that because he's got lots of servers and we're using them for free all the time. But why is he allowing, or his team, spammers saying, buy these bitcoins here, underneath other advertisers. Hello?
Yeah.
No one's checking.
It's nasty. I don't like it. It's
absolutely. And the other thing, Mr. Zuckerberg, can you please do due diligence on your advertisers? I have seen, and I'll publish it if you don't do it, I will, the amount of people, and I can't think this is all spammers playing silly beggars, the amount of people that are posting underneath, we paid for this 3 months ago, when are you sending it? Not good. Not good at all.
No.
It's not good for the Facebook's reputation either, to be honest. And the other one is, please, you know, Australia's the big place, isn't it?
Yes, huge.
Now, how long does it take you to get from Sydney to Melbourne?
About 10 hours in the car.
Right. Well, I'll draw a simile here. From me to Prague in the Czech Republic is about 8 hours. So why on earth do they send me adverts trying to get me to go to a restaurant in Prague? I ain't going. And I've even had a burger shop in America. What am I going to do? Jump on a plane and clear off to America to buy a burger? Hello.
I get them from Brisbane. All the time. And Melbourne to Brisbane is 2.5 hours by plane.
Well, you're not going to go, are you?
No, I'm not.
But there is some poetic justice. I have a friend who has a business, and he's another person very clever man, but he asked my advice. Morning Christian, afternoon Christian, good evening Christian. Asked my advice on social media when he started a new business. So he made me an administrator of his group of pages on social media. And he wants to learn, so that was cool. And I phoned him one day. I said, "Hello, mate. How much did that advertising cost you?" And he told me the price. I went, "Gee, what?" And this agency had charged him for 30,000 adverts on Facebook. Do you know how many people responded to the advert?
How many?
38. You cannot make it up. I mean, the poetic justice was the next morning he fired the agency, which is wonderful, and they weren't very happy and blah, 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 blah. And I got the blame for it, apparently, because they saw my name there. But I don't care. You can't keep crooking people over stuff like this because it messes it all up. What the readers want on Facebook is stuff that's relevant to them, not 7, 8, 9, 10 hours or even 24 hours away. Get your algorithms going right, lads and lasses. We better take a break. I did try to get hold of Lee, but no joy yet. So we'll take a quick commercial break. Back fast and you can say knife. And, you have to have a glass of water today because it's just too hot.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
This is an appeal that I simply wish I didn't have to make. In this day and age, how is it possible that 1,400 children will die today from dirty water? That children like Elodie have to drink dirty water from rivers and swamps, risking their lives. Right now, you can help save a child's life. Text the word water to 70080 to give WaterAid £3. WaterAid has the expertise to install pipes, pumps and taps that will bring clean water to children at risk. They just need your support. In the next minute, dirty water will kill another child like Elodie. So please, don't wait to save a child's life. Text WATER to 70080 now to give WaterAid £3. Thank you.
If your dream holiday is 2 hours from the UK, perfect for children and teenagers, young couples and the older visitor, ideal for the physically active and for those who just want to unwind. Aqua City is the destination for you. Described by the Travel Channel as the place that will soon be on everybody's lips, be ahead of the crowd and the envy of your friends, but still enjoy a home from home. Come to Aqua City Poprad, the world's leading green resort.
From the heart of Europe to the world, RTI.
And welcome back to part 2 of Postcard from Poprad. The joy of Rach and I having a conversation that you can't hear. Ha 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 ha! Oh dear. No, that's not a good thing. I've just noticed something. I think what we'll have to do is start that one again. It's plain silly beggars. There we go, that's better. Right, we'll try all that lot again. I hit the wrong button, boys and girls, and now Dave will take the mickey out of me, but I don't care because it's so warm, I just don't care. I really don't. Rachel's there anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I'm here.
Yeah, I know you are.
I lost you for a minute.
I know. I was trying to call the banks person, and no luck, and I hit the wrong button. So sorry about that. Really annoyed about this story. I really am very angry about it. A 52-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of fraudulently claiming to have lost family members in the Grenfell Tower disaster.
I felt sick when I read this.
Yes, I'm Dave. I'm having push-button failure. I think it's because of the story I knew was coming up. Button pushing failure. You cannot scam something like this.
You can't.
I mean...
It's disgusting.
I know.
It's like looters who come in after, big weather events and stuff like that. This is way worse, but it's sort of this bottom-feeding, horrible, parasitic mentality that gets into people that think that they've got the right to, do things that are shady in the event of a tragedy.
I just noticed something.
What?
This particular person lives in a place called Bromley in southeast London, near where Dave lives.
Oh, go get him, Dave.
Go get him, Dave. Go get him, Dave. So he wasn't even... he was a southeast Londoner.
Yeah, he didn't even... He's from... That's what when I was reading it earlier tonight, I said, he doesn't even live anywhere near there.
No. I lived about 10 kilometres from there. Oh, sorry, I'll put that in 8 miles, Dave. He's a bit old. The distress that some of these people are really suffering, the real people. I know there's a lot of people in there that, are maybe on a bit of a wheeze over it, but that always happens. And if they were involved and they lost property, okay, yeah, I get it. But, fraud at this time? No.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And they still haven't recovered everybody, and it's still very fresh, and it's just a really bottom-feeding, disgusting, parasitic thing to do. And it's right up there with people who pretend they've got cancer and ask for money.
Yeah, I quite agree.
Sort of behaviour. It's like, what is wrong with your brain to make you behave that way? It's just baffling. I hope they put him in jail for a while.
Well, apparently the scum has already been got. Well, we got that bit, mate. Thank you. But we don't know what he's going to get done with yet. But to be honest. I wouldn't put him in prison, Rach.
What would you do?
I'd make him go over to the Grenfell flats on absolute rock bottom minimum wage. Once they've got the place sorted out, however they're going to do it, he will then have to sweep it all up. And
you know what? I wouldn't even. You'd feel very generous, Uncle Eric. He'll get a community service order from a magistrate and have to do it on his own time and for no money.
Oh, I mean, he wouldn't be working properly money. He'd get minimum wage, like, during the day. So we take him out of his proper job, because he's bound to have a proper job.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, if he's living in Bromley, he's got to have some money, trust me.
That's horrible. What a horrible man.
I quite agree.
Shame on you, sir.
Now, this was a bit of a shock to me as well, because the Williams sisters in tennis their image to me, I could be wrong, but their image to me is very squeaky clean, angels, nice people. I can't think of a negative. I never could. And yet Venus Williams is being investigated. Claims that she was involved in a car crash which led to the death of a driver. This was over in Palm Beach Gardens in Florida. And she's not coming out and saying no, is she?
No, she's not. But maybe she thought we don't know enough about what's going on here. We're not sure. Maybe she's been instructed not to by counsel. I dare say that's what's going on.
Probably, yeah.
But, the lawyers have said, please don't say a word about this, and then they've managed. They are a very powerful family, and they have got a lot of money.
Yes, that's true.
You can squash things if you need to. You can keep them quiet if you need to.
Yeah, that's true.
If Lee G. Banks had his way, it'd be all over the papers, and good for him, I say.
Well, we will get his plug.
Got a squeaky clean image.
Yeah, we'll get his plug in for him in a minute, don't worry, because we haven't mentioned that word yet, but we will do because we can't get him. I'm shocked with this rather, because I was listening to a programme made by one of our colleagues, Johnny Reese, the Album Zone, the other day, as it came in nice and early, so I'd have a listen. And he only played a Flaming Adele track on it. And I'm going, God, where are you? God, please, come and help me. Take me away from this world. And then yesterday, I've gone, there is a God. It's wonderful. Adele has hinted that she may never tour again. Thank you.
I wouldn't if I were her.
Thank you.
I mean, regardless of what you feel about Adele's music or, on either side of the fence, that was a big tour she just did. It was huge.
Oh, yeah.
It was very long. She was 15 months on the road, and it's just... it's a very long time. 119 shows. That's a lot.
Oh, I know.
I'd be tired too, and swearing I was never going to tour again. And she's got a young kid now, and she's also made an absolute mozza.
Well, yeah, I mean, if she's sensible...
Again. She's only 29. I don't think she'll never tour again. I just think it'll be a very long time before she does it again.
Maybe she'll do like a Michael Bublé and come back after retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like, hi, Dennis. Dennis is 007 today. Well, that's rather nice. But I don't know. Do you know, I've seen so many of these people go and try and come back, and it never really works. I don't know why.
But she's a slow burn, though. Don't you agree? She's a slow burn. She released one album, and then she was a long time.
Oh, before 25 came out, yeah.
She's slow burn. She really is. She takes her time doing anything.
Not if I was listening, Rach. It wouldn't be a slow burn. It would be drive to top of the Tatras Mountains in beautiful Slovakia, minus a parachute, and jumping off if I was forced to listen to her all day. I'd be strawberry jam.
I will do it with you if forced to listen to Bob Dylan.
Oh, he can't hear us, can he?
No.
Well, he might be able to. Uh-oh.
It's like listening and screaming, and now he's got chucked out of the taxi.
Because he can probably download okay in the taxi, but he can't upload.
He just got 1 star on his Uber rating.
Yeah, that'll do. This particular story, which I'll do it for him now, is on the consumerwatchfoundation.com. It's about Google. And they've been ordered to pay a fine of $2.1 billion over to the European Union. And it's to do with competition. Now, the bottom line is Google's adverts on Google's page are at the top. Now, you're a marketing lass, aren't you?
Well, sort of, yep.
Sort of.
Let's say yes.
Let's play a game. So you're now the marketing director of a company, and your marketing team on your page have not got your products at the top of the page. What would you do?
I'd ask them why not.
I think you might just say the immortal words, "You're fired!"
You're fired.
That'd be the end of it. So,
yes.
And the other thing is, and this is actually a technical fact, that if you want the algorithms or coding that Google uses, they are open source. Anybody can get them. The other thing is that late last year, got more prominent earlier this year, Google actually gave people, free of charge, no money, not a brass farthing, special little tools that you can use to make your sites better and climb them up Google. For free. No money. And what do we get? A bloke saying, oh, my company is not as big as Google, so it's not as far up the listings as everybody else. Yeah. Do you know where Google started, mate? In a garage.
All the best things did.
A garage with two people. There was two guys in a garage messing about, thinking, oh, that'd be kind of cool. They started in a garage. Most of you .commers with e-commerce actually started with zillions of bucks in the bank, funded by people, because Google, who I don't normally like, actually had proven the model that you could make money out of it. So what the heck has Google done that's so antitrust? I don't get it. I really don't.
The way they explained it to the dinglings, like myself, who don't understand much about anything in terms of techno stuff, they said, okay, if you want to look for a pair of shoes, and you Google shoes, it will give you where Google's preferred clients, as it were, for retail.
Yeah.
For those shoes. So they're saying it's taking away fair competition.
Right. Can I ask you another question at this point?
Yes. Yeah.
Because those pictures are right at the top of the page, which they are, I accept that. How many people look at the top of the screen first?
I always go the middle.
Thank you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters. I believe.
But because I know what's at the top of the page and I'm not interested in that.
But
what I'm looking for is a shop that sells things that I can walk into and buy them.
Yes.
And that's why I look in the middle.
Do these people in Brussels live in an ivory tower or something? Or do they not talk to people?
It's not even going to hurt Google. This is a drop in the bucket for them.
Well, absolutely. But, the thing is, there's so much been ranting on about this from everywhere and their auntie. Now, normally, and not because Lee's not here, but it is a fact. Yes, the story was written. Yes, the story was in the papers. But these kind of stories tend to rumble on for days afterwards if there's a good...
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this doesn't.
No.
It was, there you go, it's done. Goodbye, see you later. And I'm just wondering...
Funny. I've got this vision in my head of somebody Googling for shoes, and then all of a sudden, as they get the results, must buy shoes, Google tells me to.
Oh, God, you've done it again to me now. Oh, no! I'm at the life coach last night, exercising with me yoga.
Yes.
And she plays, what's it called? Sitar music.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. And she said, how are you doing, Eric? I said, I'm fine, but I can't get Ravi Shankar out of my head. And she went, what? I said, I can't get Ravi Shankar out of my head. She said, who's Ravi Shankar? And I went, oh, God. Oh,
come on.
Serious note here. A cyber attack on the UK Parliament has compromised dozens of email accounts belonging to parliamentarians. It was originally broken, the story, by Sky, and it happened last week. But I have since spoken to a couple of MPs, as you do, to see how many accounts were actually damaged. He wouldn't give me an absolute figure, but it was like 0.0 something. 0.0 something. So I'm just wondering if this wasn't rather a big mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
But now I am bracing myself. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs and fish, brace yourselves. This is the dream story for Rachel. I put it on the running order on purpose. I knew I was doing this, and I've brought a big bucket in to throw up at the appropriate time as well, because I know what it's going to be like. It's hard to imagine the world without smartphones. As this week, it's the 10th birthday of the that one. I can't say. How's it say?
iPhone.
Oh! I'm actually. I'll have to calm down. I'm camping it up a bit. Yes, it's the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. Over 1 billion have been sold. Suckers. What? And do you know what? Do you know my missus has these moments. She really does. And she has these moments which I know with some relationships they're there all the time, take the flowers home, buy this, buy that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And actually, do you know what? That gets a bit it gets a bit samey, doesn't it? If it happens every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've got the spontaneity, then it makes it more magical. I'm really sounding odd today, aren't I?
Yeah, but it's okay because we know that you are, and it's all right to just be who you are.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, halfway through yesterday afternoon, while I'm in the middle of writing this huge report, I get this MMS message with an iPhone picture on it. And she says, because it's the birthday, I bought you one. I went, what? And then I phoned her and she said, I can't talk to you now, I'm in the toilet. She's going to kill me for this. And then she says, I tried again, click, no, she's not answering. And she wasn't going to answer the phone. So I thought, well, maybe she's not well or something. So I'll try again. Eventually she answers the phone. She said, well, you can see it when you get home. She said, I bought you one. And I went, but why? And then I'm thinking to myself, behave, Eric. If it's a really present, you need to think of an excuse and an idea as to why it's wonderful. So I said, oh, yeah, okay, that's a good idea. We can put a chip in it for me, and you've got your other phone as well. So we've got, secret phones to call each other on. It'll be free, because you get free calls on the right networks in Slovakia, you see.
On-sell it to Rachel in December.
Well... So she said, no, well, that's silly, Eric, because you and I are all we're on the same network anyway. So both you and I, because I set your phone up for you, which she did, because she's a bit of a gadget girl, closet gadget girl. And she set it up that our preferred numbers are always free anywhere in Europe. So we can call each other anywhere in Europe, absolutely free. When I get home, I look on the table, and when you have this glancing look at something, and you don't really recognise what it is.
Yes.
I did that. I didn't notice the fact that the clock said 10 minutes after 12. Mm-hmm. I didn't spot the fact that it said 2015 on it. Because it was such good packaging that was covering a bar of chocolate. She'd bought me an iPhone bar of chocolate.
You can on-sell that to Rachel in December still.
Well, I'm turning round, Rach, because they're both on the studio wall, because she bought me the iPhone thing, and she bought me a Philips C90 cassette case, which is also a bar of chocolate, which proves to me that both cassettes and iPhones are as good as a chocolate fire card.
You know what? I'm just going to ignore those barbs against the good people of Apple. I'm still waiting for my iPhone 7. Thanks very much. Not getting any younger, TikTok.
I've been practicing that all morning.
Guess what Robbie bought me today?
What did Robbie buy you today?
He bought me lots of things. He knew I'd had a diabolical week, so he bought me brand new boots for the snow this weekend. He bought me brand new headphones for my music because my old headphones had died.
Aww.
And because my little iPad mini had died, he bought me a new one of those.
You realise we dropped both of our partners in the cart now, don't you?
Yes, but it's funny they did it at the same time.
Funny that.
Yes,
moving along to something I would, if I was a multi-millionaire, I would have bought this, absolutely. A completed, restructured, rebuilt, salvaged from bits of the film, R2-D2 has sold for £2.13 million. That's $2.76 million if you want it in dollars. It's 43 inches tall. It was made by a British enthusiast, that's called an anorak, using parts that were from at least 4 films. So when R2-D2 gets blown up, he collected all the bits together, sorted it all out. It's taken him 7 years to get all the bits together. And he's put it all together, and it has been sold. And apparently it takes parts from all the different movies, the Phantom Menace, The Empire Strikes Back, Attack of the Clones. And he's done this whole thing, and he's got himself £2.13 million.
I was happy to see this story here because now I can make a point from last week or the week before, I forget which. When you were gagging and coughing over the notion of an Andy Warhol photo booth picture.
Do you know?
And I said to you, it's a collectible. To someone, it's a collectible. Like all collectibles, they're very, very valuable, and they escalate in price based on various things. And this is no different.
Right.
But you like this one. That's the difference.
Yeah, it's funny. I've got a phrase I use a lot, which the company uses quite a lot, and I'm cleaning this up, which says, don't put anything on the internet unless you wish it to bite you on the bum later. In my world, don't say anything on the radio unless you wish it to bite you on the bum later.
I got a woman's memory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, blimey. Anyway, I just think it's fantastic. I really do.
It's fantastic. I'd buy it too if I had billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah, me too.
I'd totally buy it. And I'd also buy the Warhol, just quietly. But,
Yeah, I'll look at the picture, thank you. A businesswoman has got the ump in America, in Connecticut, because a security... And I can't believe she's got the ump. A security...
I can.
Why?
Well, because this is valuable produce that she's taking to a client. And somebody's fossicked through it and mucked around with it.
Boys and girls, this lady's going to get on a plane, and the security guard has gone through her luggage to look at what's going on, to find one of her live lobsters.
Which she would have declared.
She may well have declared. I'm not saying she
wouldn't.
She has
to have. If she did it for commercial purposes, she has to have declared it.
Well, yes, but the security guard picks up this huge lobster. I mean, it's enough to feed a family, and some, and holds it by the claws, which are held together with elastic bands, and he's had a picture taken with it. I find that funny, but on the other side... Well, the other side of it is... Why is she offended that a security guard goes through luggage, which is obviously going to be moving about and not look exactly static, when there's so many things going on in the world where you're never quite sure who's doing what because you get the loonies? It could have been a snake.
Yeah, but it wasn't, and she said that when she booked it in, because she is a breeder of these particular shellfish, and there were also crab in there as well, and they were being sold. She'd sold them to a client in somewhere, either Boston, I think, and they were going to use, it was for some really upscale dinner. They'd paid premium for this food, so basically it's food. And the thing that, and I think one of the things that annoyed her was that, people going through your stuff is one thing, and we all have to accept that is the way it is in the world today. But they don't have to start taking selfies and putting them all over Instagram and, all that with all your gear. What if it was underpants on his head or something?
That'd be different, wouldn't it? Underpants. Oh, blimey.
But the thing is, this is food somebody's purchased and somebody's mucking around with it. It's not sanitary.
No, it's not. Pandora, where have you been, love? Where have you been? We started 55 minutes ago and you've just turned up. Marvellous.
You're late. Tardy slip for Pandora.
Yes. Now, I don't know whether we should do this final story or not. Bit naughty, but we're going to do it anyway.
Oh, because the end, yeah.
I mean, on one side, yeah, we can all poke fun at this story. On the other side, it shows how desperate some people can get to be.
Or depraved, I think, is also the thing.
Well,
and it's not the first time. Like, this happened to another girl in the UK, but it was a teenager.
Yeah. A woman's been found guilty of pretending to be a man to trick a female friend into having rumpy-pumpy with her. Now, correct me. I'm trying to be sensible here, but to me, when I look at a young lady, they have bits in. Well, okay, I've got moobs. I admit I have moobs, but they're not. They're not the B1 version. They're a M version, and they look different. They're not the same. The derriere of a young lady is definitely different. The waistline of a young lady, even if they're a bigger young lady, is different to a bloke. So
but this is the thing with this story. Part of the thing was that when they met, this unbeknownst to this young lady, she was blindfolded all the time, regardless of what she was doing. Entirely blindfolded. It was part of their thing, their thing that their fetish that she was blindfolded the entire time, so she had no idea who she was dealing with. They used to talk on the phone a lot and chat online, and this woman was making herself out to be this bloke. But when they were in the same room,
she'd have to talk like you when you were sick.
Yeah, but she's managed to do it. I don't know how, but but this woman's been blindfolded whenever they're together. She was blindfolded. But still, I mean, I don't know. It's happened before. But it was a teenage. Two teenage girls, one of them pretending to be a boy.
Yeah.
And you think teenagers maybe because, maybe they're not as worldly. They don't sort of know, and they're more trusting as well, I think. So they're easily duped.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just sick and sad. Like, what a thing, what a terrible deceit to pull on somebody. That's terrible.
Well, that's true, but I'm still puzzled, I suppose, as to why the other young lady didn't realise the other person was a girl.
I guess you believe what you want to believe.
That's very true. Well, you do that every week, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do it every day, Uncle Eric.
I'm not going there anymore. So, you've been spoilt to death today.
I really have.
What are you going to do to spoil him back at the weekend?
Well, actually, we're going away for the weekend, and I'm having Monday off. We're having an extra long weekend. We're going off to a place tomorrow called Harrietville, which is at the base of Mount Hotham, which is where all the snowfields are, which is why I got snow boots today. I don't ski, I just frolic.
All right.
And we're going there to buy a block of land to build a house on eventually.
Oh, this is the final stage.
I want to build a house where it snows 3 months a year in Australia.
Have you got a big knife?
25 degrees in the summer.
Have you got a big knife?
Why?
Well, to cut the ice up to make the house.
No.
Oh.
I don't want an igloo.
Someone's just sent me a message. That was childish. No, it wasn't. Mr. Esky makes them out of his igloos out of ice. Was a scientific comment.
It does melt here in Australia. We still get 25 degrees up there in the summertime, but 3 months out of the year. So we're going to go and look at this block that we want to buy, and we're going to take the extra long weekend to go and spend some time out in the alpine region of all Australia, where it snowed last night, and it's very, very cold here at the moment. So we'll have lots of ground coverage, and it'll be lovely.
I want to see pictures.
Oh, so we'll definitely have them on the line.
On the line. Does the interweb work there?
Yes.
Oh, it does. All right. Okay,
it really does.
Without Sooty and Sweep here, as we normally do, it's going to be over to you to say goodbye, Rach.
I'll try it. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Rach. See you soon. Thanks very much indeed for your company, boys and girls. It's been fab as always. You're a wonderful lot staying there all that longer time. And hopefully Lee will be out of his taxi next week. He did try. I'll give him his due. He did try. He said, I'm going to try and do the show from the taxi. I've got free Wi-Fi in it. Oh, yeah, right. What a numpty you are. Great stuff coming up over the weekend, including young Dave with his mix, which I have to say is so flaming. The mix from Dave this week is awesome. If you missed it, you've got to get it on Sunday. It's really cool. He was on fire. Whole load of stuff all over the weekend, presenters from all over the world. But as usual, on a Friday, we will start off with the one and only Steve Bishop. who's a lovely lad, known him for donkey's years. Do you know what? Like so many radio people in the world, you know them all, but we've never met them. Isn't that bizarre? It really is.
From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
The station of the stars. RTI.